This is...
Wait, we should establish like what we want to talk about. What are the bullet points we need to hit here?
I got it. Okay, so we tell them that the show is called Do You Want to Make a Podcast? It is a fireside chat between two best friends who are on the hunt to create the perfect podcast. They have a lot of ideas, and they can't decide what they want to talk about.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
That's it?
That's the synopsis. Then we'll plug the social media.
Do we want to do social media?
Yeah. So we'll tell them to follow us at Do You Want to Pod, all spelled out. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also email us at doyouwanttomakeapodcast@gmail.com.
That's it.
That works for me.
Wait, I think we just did it.
We did it. That was my plan all along.
Oh, okay. Bye. Except hello, because now the show's starting.
Yes, it is.
Heading way downtown for the weekend. Just need some time to unwind with my best friend.
We did it.
That feels so good. I always forget how good it feels to count down.
Yeah,
with two other people.
That felt like you helped me, like in the way therapy should.
Oh, is your therapist not having you count down from 5 to begin each session?
Well, I don't. Because
that's what therapy is all about.
I don't have a therapist, so YouTube has not asked me to do that. No.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'm happy to help you look for one. PsychologyToday.com, kids. Psychology Today is a wonderful resource.
Put it on the list of resources that we have.
Yeah, our show notes used to be funny things about us, but now it's like resources for equality and allyship, mental health resources. Here's where you get your COVID facts.
He said, "What am I?
We just want to give everyone
take a stand."
This is a great segue because before COVID, I feel like all podcasters were making whatever show they were making.
Yeah.
And now, after COVID, I think we're all just making shows that are like, let's just try to survive together as a species.
Yeah, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong, sister.
There's a important intention behind it, it seems.
Yes. And before we get too far ahead, I want to welcome Gabriel Bernal to the show. I've been waiting for this episode for many months.
Oh my goodness. The expectations.
Yes. No press, all the press. And before we move forward, we should ask consent. Does everyone on the call want to make a podcast?
Yes.
Yes, queen.
Yes, queens. All right. Here we are. Now, we don't have to do this bit because we don't normally come into the show with bits. But I had an idea the other day that is too good in my mind not to do.
Okay.
I have many burning questions which keep me up all night long. But the one that I think translates the best into making sillies, but still being somewhat topical, is I'm going to pose this question to each of you. Where is the real Kanye West? Now, the question, for those who aren't thinking several layers down, the question, where is the real Kanye West, implies that the Kanye West we see in the media is either an imposter, a robot, an alien in a skin suit. The list can go on. So I don't want to get into what the current Kanye West that we're supposed to believe is real, what that, is. I want to know where the real Kanye West is. Where did he go? I'm talking the artist that gave us Drive Slow, Homecoming, Touch the Sky, Good Life, like all these songs. I refuse to believe that Kanye West is the Kanye that we see on camera today.
Now,
but maybe I'm just in denial.
Well, there is precedent for this. As you know, Avril Lavigne is...
Watch it.
Have you heard the conspiracy theory about Avril Lavigne and that she died?
No, please tell me.
That she died and was replaced and no one noticed?
Oh my goodness.
That's an actual,
I believe that.
That's an actual theory about Avril Lavigne. I don't know all of the intimate details, but I know that there is
that's enough for me.
A sect. There's a sect somewhere deep in the internet that is convinced that the current Avril Lavigne is not the original Avril Lavigne, but she's been replaced
she has aged gracefully, and so I'm down to believe that she was replaced by someone with a beautiful skin regimen.
So I mean, that the Kanye. I'm saying Kanye could be the same thing.
So Jim thinks that the original Kanye perhaps has left this world. He's deceased,
and he's been replaced by a cyborg created by the Kardashian family. Their labs, Kardashian labs.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You can get behind it. What about you, Gabe?
I struggle with this one because, unpopular opinion, Kanye never really meant anything to me.
Nice.
Valid.
I was just kind of separate from, I always enjoyed his music, but I've always felt this way about artists, or anyone that has a specific trade that they're very good at, and this one happens to be the arts. He started to mean so much to people, then the audience somehow thought that their point of view on the world outside of their creative is just as valid or important. And I never ever went to him to tell me how to vote, and I'm still not doing that.
That's most wise. And this is me putting a spin on it. But
Ooh.
Feel free to shoot me down, Gabe.
No.
What you're saying is Kanye West never existed at all. There's never been a Kanye West.
No, I feel like he's always been this person. He just was so admired and called a genius that infiltrated the rest of his thoughts and, beliefs. But really, he is like a genius in music. Now, does that mean he is a historian? No, but he seems to think so.
So, by that logic, would you say that, and this may just be what you're saying, but I need to get detailed in order to understand, that the current crazy crap that Kanye says has always been inside the man's noggin, but at the start of his career, he didn't let that fly because he wanted to build a career for himself, so he played it safe.
He didn't have the ego to back it up.
To just let loose.
I would say ego and just literal microphone volume.
Yeah.
Got it.
His audience has grown.
Tracks.
It tracks!
Okay. Well, we knocked it out in one shot. This is not a recurring bit. That is where the real Kanye West is. He's where he's always been.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's what I would really think. However, I do think that the cyborg bit could be.
That's more fun.
I like the cyborg bit.
Yeah, I think that there's something there.
Okay, so let's flesh that out, because I pulled up in preparation for this the only reliable news source, BuzzFeedNews.com. Now, BuzzFeedNews.com has a timeline.
Now, hey, BuzzFeed News sometimes does good work. Don't lump BuzzFeed News in with all of BuzzFeed.
Fair. That it has news in the name.
Jim, I felt like that was directly at me. 1, whoa, slow down. 2, thank you, because I was already thinking something about Joe for bringing up BuzzFeed as a source.
Excellent. It was not only was it the first thing that I found on Google, the meeting, I mean, the episode started, so I didn't have time to find other sources. And also, the artwork's fantastic. So this is a timeline. Here is the definitive timeline of Kanye West's controversies.
Ooh.
It begins in September 13, 2009, where Kanye West interrupts Taylor Swift at MTV's Video Music Awards. Now, here's what I'm thinking. We can go through each of these controversies and play with it. So I think what happened at the VMAs is that Kanye was actually a time traveler, and something was really bad was going to happen if Taylor Swift started her speech at whatever timestamp it was going to start. So he had to just get up there and stop. He goes, wait, I need to stop things. And then in that moment, he succeeded. But then he had to be like, Beyonce is the greatest one. And he just said whatever came to his mind next. So I think he was trying to save the space-time continuum in that moment.
Now, what would have happened? What happened in the other timeline?
So in the other timeline, I mean, the result, he didn't change the result. Taylor Swift was still awarded this award, but Beyonce was not.
God forbid
change.
Taylor Swift wins Beyonce doesn't win a VMA.
So you think this is, without Kanye interrupting Taylor, Beyonce would not have gone on to win future VMAs?
I don't really give a shit.
Whoa.
Is what I'm saying.
Whoa, all right.
See, and this is where we switch places. Jim, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. No, I'm kidding. I still don't care, but I definitely am leaning more into a discussion about Beyonce than Kanye.
Oh, I mean, I don't give a shit about VMAs.
Oh,
I mean, Beyonce's great. Taylor Swift is fine. Kanye's music is fine.
I've started to like the VMAs.
But he's an insane person.
I've started to like the VMAs because they seem to know where they stand and what energy. It's like they're in the style of trash and they've accepted it. But back to what was your question, Joe?
It was Jim's question of what if Kanye didn't interrupt the speech? What awful event would have happened? Like, what was he trying to stop with his time traveling disruption?
Do you think I know what it is? Or I would like to posit it to the group.
Safe space.
If in the original timeline, Beyonce got up and said, I had the greatest video of all time. Oh. How could you all?
Whoa.
And it created a world in which Beyonce became a villain.
And Kanye couldn't let that happen.
And the world fell into chaos.
Oh my goodness.
And Kanye was like, I have this really awful shit I'm about to say in 5 years anyway. Let's just start it right now. Let's save Beyonce. I'll just start the process early. He was already ready to be the worst.
Let's say that same idea, but he actually was stepping in to save Taylor Swift from saying something very offensive, and he secretly was rooting for her.
Wow, that's the twist.
Whoa, Fuck. What an angle.
Oh, so many layers. I'm liking this game.
Yeah, that's my other theory, is that, Taylor Swift was going to say something, wildly offensive.
And it would have sparked World War III! It would have started the Third World War, and Kanye was like, no!
Instead, he's just going to have beef with Taylor Swift for...
And he was ready to shoulder that burden.
So long. We still talk about it.
Is Kanye brave?
I think that's what we're getting at. Perhaps.
Some would say selfless.
Honestly, this is as far as I got in the article. But West leaves Nike for Adidas December 3rd, 2013.
Drama.
2013 was the year West began his battle to be recognized in the corporate world. His album Yeezus was him at his most anti-establishment with songs like New Slaves, but the impetus can really be pinpointed to his frustration with Nike for only being interested in his name, not his ideas. By the end of the year, West had moved over to Adidas. So, a lot going on here. I don't recall seeing Kanye's face on any sneaker. Is it in the sole of the sneaker?
I mean, he doesn't... I can't tell how obtuse you're being.
Because I thought, because on every pair of Michael Jordan Airs, I've seen a little, face of Michael Jordan. He's smiling, if you lift up the tongue under the sneaker. Yeah. But I didn't see any Kanye image on either of these sneakers.
No, see, the funny thing about Kanye sneakers is that he actually strikes the same pose as the Air Jordan pose.
Got it.
Kanye likes to also do that at his concerts, so it's very difficult to tell Air Jordans from Yeezys.
Right. So when they moved to Adidas, he just would start holding up 3 fingers. And he's like, this is easy to do. And so he just melded into the logo of Adidas stuff. Oh no, Adidas is that's on the pants. It's the flower, right?
No, Adidas is the triangle thing.
The triangle thing?
The triangle with the 3 bars.
The spiral?
No, not a spiral.
The rainbow?
Definitely not a rainbow.
Only in June.
It's
the unicycle. The unicycle. The Adidas logo's the unicycle, right?
Joseph, I'm going to murder you.
I just would like to say that I didn't do my research because I knew about Air Jordans because they came out when my parents were still dressing me and I didn't know I was a flaming homosexual. And since then, I know now, and I don't know what Kanye's shoes look like.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you what they look like. I'm not a sneakerhead by any means. I just know that they're called Yeezys.
Perhaps we've stumbled on another success in the timeline.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really follow Kanye's stuff until he throws his stuff into my face by running for president. Regardless, nobody vote for Kanye. Don't write him in. Don't do anything that has to do with Kanye for president.
Agreed.
the world we live in where like you need to say that.
Right. I know, right?
Right.
Like
yes,
this is
real. Yes. The things we need to say include wash your hands and don't write Kanye West's name in on your ballot.
Yes.
What are other obvious things that we thought the world just knew, but apparently we need to say?
That wearing a mask is better than not wearing a mask.
Great.
If in public with a bunch of people while there's a virus.
Mm-hmm.
And that it doesn't affect your breathing. Doesn't affect your oxygen levels, you dirty liars.
Yeah, Bethany, you were out of breath before.
Correct.
Yeah, Bethany, you tell Bethany.
Poor Bethany, she never gets called out. I felt it was time.
Yes.
Yes.
Save the Karens. Call out Bethany instead.
God, it's Sunday. Karen's busy.
What does a typical Sunday look like for Karen?
My God. Well, first she wakes up 6 to 7, just full of hate, and she spends a quiet hour drinking coffee before anyone in the house is awake.
Because that's her only time of peace.
Yeah, and I think that's when she hairsprays and combs her hair up in the spiked fashion, so no one can see what it looked like before deflated in the pillow. And then I think it's waking up the husband and kids to prepare for church, but
for TV church. Or are they going to church?
Honey, they've been going to one.
Oh, you can't get COVID in church.
Right.
No.
I forgot.
Because prayer is above my household, and that will protect me. Because I am blessed and highly favored. Won't he do it? He already done did it.
Gabe, this could be a great character for you.
Oh my goodness.
Just like your version of Karen, I think I could listen to for hours.
I don't want to make her likable, yeah?
That's the thing. You're so good at it.
I'm just so likable. I'm like, ugh. I still want people to see the Karens when they're like, oh, that's a Karen. I still want them to be like, that's a white supremacist, or that's
right. And not to make it cute.
Yeah, and that there's that funny line of we're using comedy to laugh through it so we don't weep, and sometimes there's a little blood coming from the nose because we're like. But I definitely don't want to that's a Karen, because that's making her innocent.
Yeah.
Them innocent.
Well done. Well put,
sir.
So true. But at the same time, it's just so fun to make fun of.
Yeah.
Life's so hard.
What was it, the mayor of Chicago?
It's just fraught. Everything is just so fraught. I hate it.
I want to give some kudos to the mayor of Chicago for calling the White House press secretary Karen. That was wonderful.
Oh,
did you all see
I missed that. Yeah. No, that's rich.
She's like Karen Prime.
Yeah,
the White House press secretary.
I think this is going to be slightly wrong, so don't quote me on this. But basically, the White House press secretary, number whatever at this point, whose name I don't care to ever remember, whose name almost sounds like Karen, talks down at the mayor of Chicago and is like, "You do a bad job at what you do, Miss Mayor." And the mayor was just like, "Sit down, Karen." Her tweet essentially said, it was 5 words, and it was essentially the equivalent of "Sit down, Karen." It's fantastic.
Have you seen the mayor? I mean, I don't. All right, let's take a moment to say body positivity. Everyone, I love everyone. Everyone is beautiful. Mm-hmm. Everyone is perfect.
Oh my gosh, I'm triggered.
Love myself. But also, have you seen the mayor of Chicago?
Not. I don't think the way you have.
She's an icon.
All right.
She is this ridiculous looking little gremlin that wears pantsuits that are too big for her.
Oh my goodness.
And she's just, it's just like, I'm trying to think, it's like the cartoon character of what you would expect, if the lady who, lived down the street and, loved her birds, was thrust into the
limelight,
public eye. That's what I think it would look like. It's great though, because you don't expect her to be the mayor, and yet here she is.
There is this picture I just found on Google that I'm going to put in the Zoom chat here of Mayor Lightfoot. I would not fuck with Mayor Lightfoot. I
Yes.
say that with an
Oh,
appreciation,
yes.
with a respect, with a bit of intimidation of like, you do not want to be on this lady's bad side.
Yes, but her suits are like just a little bit too big that like
But that's
Like
an old
Lightfoot-
school. But that's an old school way to wear a suit, like just a little bit
that's
too
true.
big.
Yeah, but I mean it's just the other thing is that her last name is Lightfoot, and like as a nerd, like Lightfoot to me is like a distinctly halfling name.
Like Dungeons and Dragons thing.
or for those of you that are not afraid to be sued by J.R.R. Tolkien's estate, it sounds a little bit like a Hobbit name, Lightfoot. So like every time I see her in clothes that are too big, and then I hear her name is Lightfoot, I'm like, oh, the Hobbit mayor's on the move again.
The hobbits are the same folk that saved Middle Earth. Let's not forget.
Oh yeah, no,
Have some respect.
She is great. She looks a little crazy, and I love it. I live for it.
Well, apparently she's a
live for it.
savage, according to that tweet. So I didn't really know about her all that much beforehand, but and her name's Lightfoot, so you're adding like a whole like magical experience.
Yes, she's going to take the ring of hate and oppression and throw it back into the fire
Whoa.
from whence the fucking Trumpkin was spawned. Trumpkin was something I saw on Facebook today. Thank you for Facebook. There's a few times I've enjoyed Facebook, but when I saw him called Trumpkin, oh, so good, so good.
Lori Lightfoot is her name.
Yes.
She deserves to have her full name said. It is such a good name.
It is.
It's such a good name. It can't be real.
It feels good to
Like,
say those double L's.
Yeah, it just flows. It's so good.
It's definitely for TV. 100%.
It's the name of a hero,
Yes.
and I'm not joking
Yeah.
about that.
No, I would create a Dungeons and Dragons character named Lori Lightfoot. Mm-hmm. And she would be, you know what? I might do it now, and model it after her, and I'll find a way to infuse her into it.
Heck yeah.
I have ideas now. Hold on, I have to go take some notes. I'll be right
Literally,
back.
we were here, blessed and highly favored, to witness you get inspired. But talking about not Tolkien, I was just thinking of what's her name that created Harry Potter and her recent cancellation.
Miss Rowling.
Similar to Kanye West, people really valued her opinion because she had done so much good, contributing all of her finances and money to things that mattered. And then when it came up for discussion of gender, we were like, who is this?
Yeah,
and then I was like, she
yeah.
created a pretend world. This is awful, but I should have never cared what you had to say.
Right. I think it lends credence to the idea that writers are just kind of like conduits for like, you know, like things that they can sense and hear about the world. So like J.K. Rowling can be this shitty, you know, transphobic lady, but when she was writing Harry Potter, she was just like sort of like she was the pipeline that the internet runs through when it gets to your computer, right? Like that might be an awful pipe, but I'm so glad it brought me the internet. Right. So like, I guess the point I'm trying to make is I'm not saying that I condone that it's okay what she said. I'm not saying that I support her. What I am saying is I'm still glad that Harry Potter has done a lot of good for children and the world. I think.
I understand.
I would hope.
Yeah, so the complication is because there's the concept, of course, that, you know, the art, once it's released, belongs to the recipients of it, which is true to a point, right? Like if I go out and buy a Harry Potter book, she's still going to get the money from that if I buy it. If I go buy it right now,
right?
So like you can still have a positive relationship to the Harry Potter things that you have, and there's still a lot of things that like exist and benefit a lot of people, and the world of Harry Potter has created all kinds of charitable outreaches and all of those things that don't have anything to do with her. But I feel like it's important to like divorce the fact of like
Contributing to her success.
Yeah, like don't necessarily go out and buy another Harry Potter book, or don't go out and see the terrible movies that she's has a part in.
But can I still play Quidditch in the park?
Yes. But you can still play Quidditch in the park, and you can still, support the... I don't know if the Harry Potter Alliance is still around, but I know the Harry Potter Alliance is a charitable organization that did a lot of good work in the late 2000s and early teens. I haven't heard anything from them recently, so I don't know what they're up to, but I'm sure that they're still doing good things if they're around.
Now would be, and this is not necessarily the best advice, now would be a great time to start torrenting Harry Potter, to start ripping those movies off the internet so that she gets no money.
Wow.
And you can enjoy them till the end of your days. Or just get the book from the library.
Yeah, support your local library, kids.
Right on.
But wear a mask if you go inside.
And maybe make sure the book isn't nasty.
Use a Lysol wipe.
The book.
I will say the library by me put a message out that any books that get returned will be, quarantined for 30 days before they go back into circulation.
Work.
I made up the number. Maybe it was 3 weeks.
24 hours.
They're gonna give it time. They're gonna let it sit. They're gonna air it out.
That's good.
I mean, that's good, but it's also sad in a way, that if there's this book that's on high demand for some reason, although I don't know if that really happens anymore though.
I think there are today with the books on allyship.
Well, I mean, the thing is that there are ways to digitally borrow things from the library now as well too, that are worth. That I don't know anything about, but because I haven't read a book in a long time, probably. It's pretty bad.
I had a book link sent to me over the quarantine, and I loved the idea of reading that book over quarantine, but I didn't realize that I really love a physical book to flip through and scrolling. It was, I resisted hardcore.
Yeah, no, ebooks are hard. Ebooks are hard. I've never been able to get into them for me.
I think I enjoy them for fiction, for books I know that I won't read again. Just one and done kind of thing. I like that it downloads to my Kindle, I read it, and then it's gone. I don't have to worry about it. But if I'm going to save something, if I'm going to, let a friend borrow it, if I want to highlight stuff, I do like having the physical book.
Yeah.
If you're a nerd with super fantasy books that are giant, my God, it's great to have a Kindle because then you don't have to keep these tomes on your bookshelf.
Oh, but the tomes look so cool on the bookshelf.
They do. So a few tomes,
sometimes.
Great, but you reach a point of diminishing returns with tome ownage.
Are we playfully saying the word tombs, or do I need to learn something?
We can start that game.
What is a tomb? Tome.
A tome is basically a thick book of magic. Am I right, Jim?
Whoa.
I mean, it's really just a thick book.
Okay, good.
But they do often use it in terms of... Really, if I'm going to talk about a book of magic, I would probably use the word grimoire.
Okay.
Grimoire instead.
Whoa.
Got it. So, tome's just a big book.
Great. I was asking for, maybe the one other person that's help.
That's...
What? Tome?
That's great.
What? Excuse me? Here, hold on. Let's get official with this...
I feel like, Joe, y'all may have attracted people that already know what the word tome means.
Tome. Noun. Humorous. It is a humorous noun.
Oh.
Apparently, according to the dictionary listing on Google. It is a book, especially a large, heavy, scholarly one.
Work.
So there you go. There's your word of the day, kids.
Tome.
That's it.
I'm just imagining a tome that's the subject matter is toes, a toe tome.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Just how much is there enough about the toe to warrant a full-on tome about toes?
I think if you kept it to human toes, probably not. But if you expanded it to all species with toes and how those different toes are used, then hell yeah.
And if it's just humans, maybe toes around the world.
Toes around the world.
I see the publicity.
I think we could also, there's an opportunity here for a tomato, a tome about tomatoes.
Whoa.
Now that there is
lots of not meat. There's a lot of skin on that tomato.
There's a lot of good stuff in there.
There's a lot of heirloom in that tomato, baby.
Very good.
Help!
Let's go. Let's get it.
Help!
All right, we got to help out Gabe. He's fading fast.
Help!
Oh. So Gabe, what's new in New York?
What's new? I just finished my
what's
2
old
week.
in New York? What's new in New York?
Whoa. What's old? I have nothing creative for that. And that's old. That's old, I guess. What's new? 2 weeks of quarantine because I stayed in Texas from March 16th until 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
And because Texas is so polarizing right now in regards to how to respond to the virus, and it's like beautifully spaced out enough to where you can honestly never see how bad it can be and live in the ignorance and search for sources or articles to further back something that you're not seeing.
Right.
It's wild. So I understood why I was trapped inside. And it turns out, folks, I'm very good at doing nothing.
Ah.
So that's new. Because people were like, you're going to feel so weird going back to New York. It's going to move fast. I was expecting anxiety to bubble up. And then my job told me to sit down for 2 weeks. And I was like, oh my gosh. No one needs me. But being in performing arts, there aren't any auditions. So I don't have an looming, I should be doing something. I really should not be doing anything. And it was great.
And how freeing.
Yeah.
That's the dream, baby. That's the dream.
Amen. Literally, I was doing well. The check mark for the day was, did you wear a mask in the living room with your roommates? And if I did, which I did, that was a lovely act of kindness that I did.
Aww.
And, God, I'm so good.
You found freedom in this restriction. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but it's been, of course, very dark and very sad with the virus, and then Black Lives Matter movement. There's been a lot to really care about and research. But the also mandatory pause we've all had to endure has calmed the anxiety that I should be somewhere else than where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
It's probably the most present I've ever felt because the present is, in a lot of ways, absolutely awful. And so, but it so lovely because I'm not freaking out about what I should be doing.
Yeah.
I don't think I have heard it put that well before. That's great.
Oh my goodness, Joe. You're trying to make me fall in love over Zoom.
That would imply that we're not already in love.
You're right.
Is everything okay? Are we okay?
You're right. No, my God. Wait, have y'all experienced a similar situation to everyone's not doing well, so you're good?
At the start of this,
yeah. I mean,
the first week I actually did really well. And I think I've actually gotten worse ever since because I've been ooh, I can keep productive on Zoom. And my workaholism has basically just come back. And now we just do it all digital and we can still
Are you making
wear
lists?
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. But for a few good weeks, I was like you said, I was present. I was not anxious. It was amazing. And I'd love to get back to that. What about you, Jim?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm still working a 9 to 5 at home, so it's become even more difficult to divorce the work life and the home life. So yeah. So that is a different challenge that has been less freeing, but there's a lot of things that have been very nice about being able to be at home and all those things, but I don't think I've felt that level of clarity because I haven't been able to press pause on everything.
Totally.
You know what I mean? I wish I could, but I can't. I mean, I'd have to take 2 weeks of vacation, and then I wouldn't have any vacation for the rest of my year.
Yeah, when you can hopefully go actually somewhere safely.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure your experience. That seems to be a common experience, though. I forget that my world is so random, but that so many people don't have the I guess ritual of this is my workspace, this is my relaxed space. It's all blurred together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the hard part is like where I'm sitting right now at my computer is also where I work. On my video behind me, you can see my TV and my games and all my shit is right here. So like everything is like right here. And there's no way to like really put up walls because there's not enough space for them.
Totally.
So it's hard in that way, but it still is like, I don't know. I still like being at home because that's like the type of person I am. I just wish I didn't have to do it all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's different when it's forced.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those things where like I don't want to be invited to the party, or no, I don't want to go to the party, but I would like to be invited.
But I would like to be invited. Exactly.
Or like right now, I don't want to date, but like if I meet the right person, like I'm totally available, and like I'm not gonna push for anything, but I want to be single. But like, yeah.
Oh my god, that's like exactly it.
It's so dumb.
That's exactly it. Like I'm like totally like this is where I want to be. This is how I want to work. But the fact that I have to do it, like, is like, what the hell?
Yeah, your metaphorical wispies have been twirled so hard recently.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever, reached out to a friend who you haven't seen in a while? And it's like, then you set a day, this is before COVID, and you set a day and time to meet up. And then like when you set the plans, you have nothing, you're like, oh, my whole next week is open. Just pick a day and time and we'll hang out. And then like, as the day, you're like, all right, Thursday at 4. But then as Thursday approaches, things start popping up and your calendar starts filling up. And you're like, fuck, I just don't have time anymore. But I don't want to say to the friend, I don't want to say it. And then the glorious text comes where your friend's like, oh man, I'm so sorry. I can't make it. And they don't know that you're jumping for fucking joy. Your hands are up in the air. You're like, yes, I reconnected with you and I don't actually have to see you now. And now I'm a good friend. Yeah.
Wow. 100%.
Oh, it's the best feeling in the world.
But now, I'm so sorry. I have this thing. No, you don't.
Right.
You don't. And so like, I don't have a dog. I don't have children. What can I lie about? I'd like if I'm leaving, it's because I'm walking this ass to a couch to go watch TV. Like I literally can't get out of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's a remote thing, if it's like a Zoom call, I say as we're on a Zoom call,
meta,
then you really have nothing, which is tough because Zoom calls can be exhausting, especially if there's a lot of people on them.
Yes.
It's exhausting.
It's really, I think the biggest danger for me in this quarantine, and this is a joke and coming from a place of privilege, the biggest danger for me is that whatever small part of me was like, haha, yeah, this might all be a simulation, has actually, I really think at this point that I'm living in a video game, and that it's just. Whoa. I will wake up out of this. I'll wake up in this we're terraforming Mars and I'm in cryo sleep on a spaceship. So like, and the danger with that is that I don't really think to like, it's almost like fuck it. Nothing matters. This is all a simulation because all my interactions are talking to people on a computer. You're like Gabe's in a box. Like I'm not seeing you. Like someone could be like, I hope this is you, Gabe, but this could be a deep fake that the simulation has made of you. And I have no idea. And I have very few people in my life to remind me that this is real and that I am alive.
Whoa.
I'm losing my shit. I told you, first week of quarantine, I was good. But here I am, just like, oh, I'm Neo. I can stop bullets if they come at me. Sure, no problem. Let's go.
We have a similar bullet point to like, nothing's real. Mine, I go, nothing's real. Oh, so like, we just realized with COVID that like, all the laws and rules set in place are a joke. That we could all, a virus and the potential of losing taste and smell could really destroy the world. So we're all, like, that's where my brain goes, nothing matters. And that's where you're like, let's solve it.
This structure that we built for ourselves with money that we decided matters, that rules our lives, all was, as you said, disrupted by this tiny virus. Well, I don't want to say tiny to minimize it, but disrupted by a virus.
That's wild.
Like I hope, and this is naive maybe, but maybe we make a better world out of this. If we're like, hey, if the last version, it's like a software update. If version 12.0 got fucked up by this bug, a literal bug, well, maybe we come out with OS 13. Yeah. And in OS 13, in the world on planet Earth 13, maybe we don't do all this shit that caused such an awful time when a virus comes up. Because viruses are going to happen. You're never going to, like, if viruses didn't happen, we'd still be running Windows 98. Right? Like there'd be no room for improvement. So things are going to happen. Whoa. But how do we get to a place where when something comes by, the whole system doesn't crash? Like, how great of a society could it really be if we're all just like totally on lockdown?
You're asking the right questions, Joseph. I appreciate it. I am sorry to report, boy, oh boy, do I not have the answers for you.
Oh man, I really hope you did, Jim.
But I know. Usually I do.
Maybe, I think the real Avril Lavigne did have the answers, and that's why she knew too much.
That's why they killed her.
They killed her off.
Oh, no.
That's why the deep state killed her.
Oh, my goodness.
And replaced her.
She saw this coming. She knew.
That's right.
Skater boy, see you later, boy. It's a code. It's a cipher. If you just put the Post-its up on the wall, you'll see that the song Skater Boy is really a prediction of COVID-19.
Whoa. I just didn't expect that haircut and highlights to inform 2020.
If only we had known. We were blind. We couldn't see.
But I
appreciate
slamming on his guitar. That's it.
I appreciate you leaning into that naive possibility because I think that's totally possible. Because the fact that the system crumbled so much meant that it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And then the same thing in relation to race. Like, this has always been the case.
Yes.
Just not as many people were tuned in to... it's that what is it? The Disney... I forget what the wording is. But Americans, like, inability to see themselves in history. Like, we'll read, like, these are bad people. These are the people that were affected. And now we're good because we read this. Rather than... my ancestors played a part in the evil, and that is informed today. Yes. So I think that, like, all of us forced to sit down and look at it, I'm hoping, and not just hoping, but, like, actively pursuing a different society so that I could maybe be a little more proud of the country when I hear the Star Spangled Banner.
Right. And, like, I don't want to look at, like, and this is fucked up of me, but when I see the American flag, I think oppression now, and I think hate. And I'm not going to liken it to any other symbols, but there might be some symbols in people's heads right now.
Well, and that the situation is that has always been the case to someone.
Yeah. Well, yes. And I'm glad now that that's in my awareness, and I can't unsee it. So it's okay. When people say, well, the return back to normal, can't wait for things to get back to normal. I'm like, no, that led us here.
Yeah, that's
like,
the whole.
Don't
like,
you see
the great again? It's like, please point in your history books to when you thought we were great, and why are we going back to that? Because someone was not represented. That Make America Great Again.
That's right.
It's like what year specifically? Please point it out because I'm sure one of us is not doing well.
Yes.
Oh, snaps.
Right on. I don't want to. I feel like we can't. There's no better place to go to stop than there. I think that's wonderful.
Two things really quickly. We mentioned the Star Spangled Banner. It's a bad national anthem. I just need to say that.
Whoa.
And then
Skater Boy should replace the Star Spangled Banner.
If only Avril Lavigne wasn't Canadian, then it could be Skater Boy.
And that's another thing that she had against her. She was too good and pure of maple syrup. They just had to kill the good Canadians.
Yeah. And then, as far as not going back, it's almost like the free market can't solve all our problems. What? Who said that?
But
please.
Wow.
What an interesting notion, James.
What a concept, huh?
Gabe, is there anything that you want to leave the list? We ask our artist friends if there's anything you want to plug. We'll cut this out if there's nothing you want to plug. But is there links and stuff that you're just no?
No, not as of now. I will say that I'm excited for what art is possibly coming from this. I myself have not necessarily felt creative But I did see the American theater, specifically the American musical theater, as something that was really good at escapism. And I really would like us to get really messy and see what that looks like. And so I'm hoping that the art that I actually get excited by is getting produced more after this.
That's my dude. Right fucking there. Yes! All right. Make sure you FaceTime your mom's kids if you're not already back in their basement. They're wondering how you're doing. And please be kind to each other. Bye, Mom.
5 stars.
I'm gonna end this like like what is it? The Boomers. This angle. I love you too.
Oh my God! For listeners, this is gonna have to be the promo because we can't not do that. So great.
What is this? Is this thing?
Oh, that's it too.
How do you work this? What does this? Yes. How do I get out of this?
Oh God.
Where's the X?
Pray for him.
Where is the X here?
Oh.
I don't. Wait. Huh. Where's the X? What? Does it say?
It's a Mac, Grandpa. The X is on the left side.
It says leave. It says leave. Do I hit that button?
Yes. You leave.
Are you sure?
You leave the meeting because Janice and I are staying on the call, so I can't end the call for everyone. You just have to
use the computer after.
You can still use the computer, Grandpa.
If it says leave, do I have to get up?
No, you can take it with you. It's a laptop. It's not like soldered to the wall or anything.
What? You can move the computers
Yes, you can. Okay. All right. I'm ending this meeting for us all, Grandpa. You've ruined it. This is why we can't have nice things.
Important.
I love you.
It's important.
I love you. Mwah, 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 mwah.
I don't need your mile long bridge. Williamsburg is too expensive. Fuck the A train. Am I insane? No, I'm just never going back unless you force me to smoke crack.